We're live. My lighting is incredibly dark. Hold on. I have this really, I think it's a drafting light that I got from Christiana's grandfather, who used to he designed furniture, I believe. So it's basically like a giant orange Luxo light on the desk. So hi everyone. Hello for tuning in. We're going to be covering Cars 3 today. Let me get Sean in on the broadcast. Sean.
My man.
See, I didn't chatter as much before we started this because I realized that upon listening back to the audio that whenever like the connection switches to the both of us, it cuts off like 30 seconds of me talking, which is for the better. We got a solid internet connection.
We do.
What's the weather? Oh, it's nice and sunny. We're getting into some spring weather. We're getting 45-degree mornings and 77-degree afternoons.
It's been beautiful. I believe I'm probably gonna hang out in the backyard today and barbecue. Yeah. It's gonna be a good day.
I gotta get back to my. I'm currently trying to read 3 books at once, which is.
How do you do that?
They're all biographies, so it's just kind of like
but then still, you just turn these into a super person. It sounds like in your head, right?
This guy's doing this, and he's a time traveler. But how are you doing? How have you been? How have you been this past week?
I've been pretty good. I decided people know I work freelance, and January being one of the slower months, I decided I'd just kind of see what other jobs from other industries are out there. And so I've been interviewing, and I've had a lot of interviews and just a lot of success, to be honest. So having a good week. My buddy Jordan sent me over this really sweet Boba Fett Lego thing.
Nice.
And I got to throw that together yesterday. It's pretty sweet here.
That's nice.
Yeah, man. So I'm putting that up today. We'll go behind Yoder. Voila.
Have you been watching the book of Boba Fett and his adventures on Tatooine?
I don't want to get too into it because we could literally we're very close to being done with this whole Pixar series, and so who knows what we'll do next. And the answer to your question is yes, I have been watching Boba Fett, and I do have a lot of opinions.
I mean, I feel like we could do like an overall Star Wars thing. I just know we have to bring in Tyler to talk about Star Wars.
Oh, for sure.
Because the 3 of us riffing in Star Wars would just
somewhere just like doing one of these, like they're talking about it.
Sneezing. Someone's talking about me. I can feel it.
Yeah, man. But yeah, life's pretty good these days. Can't complain too much. Got a nice hot.
Nice. Yeah, I'm back to full on working. Before I was just doing the office portion, and now that my wrist is cleared, at least by our on-site staff, it still gets like stiff from cold. So I think there's an underlying.
It's crazy that you can do that many push-ups to hurt your wrist, Mark.
I know, right?
So busty.
Just so many, just dipping my finger, lift my arm, dip my finger, do those weird like ninja jumps.
So you've just been doing one-handed push-ups with the other
one-handed
hand?
push-ups.
I got you.
sound like a bubble wrap when I flick my wrist.
Hey man, I got the same thing. I did mine. I broke my wrist when we were in middle school, and you know what it's like to be a child with anything messed up. So I just played as though my wrist wasn't broken for the 3 months that you're supposed to just be chilling in the cast. I was playing basketball, football. We were outside. We were inside. We were everywhere, And to the day, mine still does a good little.
I have a feeling that there are a lot of undiagnosed injuries that I had when I was younger, and I think just that's where all of the nutrition went. Where I'm like, I wonder why I was eating so much in this week. I was probably because my body was rebuilding itself after I hurled myself off of a chain link fence for the sake of a shot for a movie or something. Facebook Memories reminded me that it's been 12 years since I broke my collarbone.
Oh wow, dude, the first one.
Would you look at that? That was the first broken bone I had. So
was that Ryan? Is that when Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah.
But see, I feel so bad because I feel like people were like, "You broke Marco," and I'm like, "I ran into Ryan incorrectly."
Dude, it was wild, man. That was a trip.
I ricocheted off of somebody, and I ricocheted off of somebody that probably weighed at least 50% more than me.
If we had it videotaped, 2 things: Bob Saget would have been talking to us and giving us money. Rest in peace. because America's Funniest Home Videos, it would have been hilarious. And then number two, also Bill Nye could have definitely used that to explain like inertia or something. I don't know.
Inertia and conservation of inertia
exactly.
between two things of varying different.
Oh man, that would have been great. So yeah. Well,
all right, let's
I'm glad we're
get
both
into
doing
it.
pretty good these days. Did you watch the short?
Yeah. With
Awesome.
Lou.
The short before this one was Lou. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really crazy just seeing the whole with the known history of that. It took him over a year to figure out how to animate Hank from Finding Dory. That they took on a short where it was going to be exponentially more. What's the word? Imaginative in the way that he would move and everything. And this is a theory more than anything. I would theorize that they used the same mechanics they used for Hank to animate that.
Yeah.
But then just went ahead and threw different skins on it and went and saw the way things worked. And then it looked like there was a lot of times when they bent the rules, and it was just a beautiful sight to see.
Just like the items following each other but not following each other. This like amorphous sentient pile.
The way
of
like
toys.
his eye kind of moves from like the bottom all the way up to the top of the box with his other eye. You know, like that's not something Hank would do, but also it was really cool to see it work like that. Yeah, man. I was very impressed more than anything. It wasn't something like I was impressed like Good Dinosaur where there was like a real realism. It was more just to the ability to put such an alien-like creature together, you know?
What was the craziest? Do you ever remember like searching through Lost and Found in school? Because I don't remember ever seeing.
I remember searching Lost and Found in school. I remember also my mom being a restaurant manager after like 3 to 6 months. The Lost and Found bin, I would just come up and like I remember I got like Pokemon Silver version. I got sunglasses. I got a jacket. Like just all kinds of random stuff out of the Lost and Found.
I think the funniest thing I found in the Lost and Found is when we worked at the Boy Scout camp, we would always find like really funny items. And there was one kid who I think he always wore a fisherman cap, and then we tried to contact him, and then he never answered. So I had this like Greek fisherman cap that was like half a size too small for me because I have puffy hair and a big head. And so I just had this hat that just like and I always wore it at work because I just thought it was funny. I've always liked like captain's hats, conductor's hats. That's a holdover from being little. But I would always used to carry that around.
Don't lose your dinosaur, Marco.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just watched Step Brothers. So I liked also just the message in the short. Beautiful message. Just, hurt people hurt people. It's one of the oldest lessons that we can learn. And it's something that's very imperative that the earlier you learn, the earlier you realize that everyone's still human. Everyone's still people, And there's a certain dignity to that. There's a certain amount of respect that should be given. And sometimes it takes that to bring people out of that hurting cycle. And it was really cool to see how Lou decides what this kid needs, the kind of therapy he needs is service unto others. And that's what my mom always taught me growing up, was like whenever I was down on myself, if I ever hurt or anything like that, just to go out and help somebody else. The best way to make yourself feel better is making somebody else feel better. And so I really just enjoyed the whole thing. Like I was sitting there in awe of the whole thing, and then bam, my feels got smacked. It was a perfect picturesque Pixar short. It was exactly what I want out of Pixar.
And like it's like surprisingly small scale, like real like you think like some Pixar shorts like they're like grand scale but small scale like things happening. But then this was just on a playground. It was playground in the back of the school.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So we move on. We get to go to our main entree, the main dish, Cars 3. I'll be honest, I have really high expectations for this movie, Marco. I really did, especially after doing this podcast together, and we all know if you're a fan, I'm pumped because it is Mater time, baby. Like, let's go. I'm ready to see Mater show up and show out. And I couldn't tell you how excited I was just to be like, I was itching. I was thinking like, I can't wait. He's going to have some new power that shows up in this one, or he's going to do something that's going to be like, oh, that's why. Like I was waiting for that shoe to drop moment, I was ready for it. What about you?
I went in like expecting a little less Mater when I remember
Mhm.
seeing the trailers, but also too that original teaser was enough of an emotional roller coaster of like I don't need to see Lightning McQueen die or whatever they were
Yeah, dude.
like. And I think it's funny because every once in a while you'll see people post on Twitter, it's like, "Oh, happy 5-year anniversary to the death of McQueen," because that's what that
That's the
trailer
thing.
was. I was
Yeah.
just like, okay,
He just gets
like
murked, dude.
this is what prepare for yourself for a darker, edgier Cars 3.
They all
I was
have black eyeliner
yeah.
on.
It's just Mad Max. The world
Uh,
20 years ago, all of the
dude, a
oils.
Mad Max Cars world would be sick. I would
Give
be
us
down to see
Waterworld
someone
with
animate that.
cars.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
The Deacon.
So
Talking
you
about
knew
it,
going in that there wasn't going to be as much Mater. You were expecting a darker movie.
I was expecting more racing, but I don't know, I was expecting the amount of racing that I was expecting from Cars 2, which of which there was a
Hmm.
fair amount. I just thought there
Yeah.
was going to be more intertwining with the spy movie, I suppose, where it
Hmm.
was like, oh no, the first car to cross the finish line gets blown up. So, or something like that. But
More Speed Racer-esque, where like the
yeah,
person that's
racing,
racing is the spy. I
yeah.
got you.
And so when that's what I was excited for with Cars 3 was just back to racing, back to
Hmm.
the roots of that, and we got that and much more.
Yeah, no, it
Um,
definitely brings racing back. That's
mhm.
definitely sure. Um, do you remember it's 2017? So what are we like 27 at this point?
Yeah,
Anything big happening in your life right here?
I don't think I saw this in. See, what's weird is like I don't remember seeing this in theaters, but I remember seeing like posting up pretty quickly about like the Pizza Planet truck being in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. I checked my photo log because my memory is not that great, and I don't remember where I saw
Well,
it.
neither one of us have children, and so we're not at the same point we were before where we're like young teenagers or, young adults going to see this. We're getting closer to a different part of life. So I don't feel like we would go see this movie too often by ourselves anymore or just go.
Yeah,
I would, nowadays I would totally hitch up to go see the new Pixar movie, but it's just the space and time I feel like we probably wouldn't have. But I
just a
will say
little.
is I do remember seeing this in theaters, but
Mhm.
it was because at 27, you don't see your parents nearly as much. I remember my mom called me and said, "Hey, let's get everybody together and go see the new Pixar movie." Because my mom is a Pixar fanatic. Hence, all the stuff you see behind me is mostly hers. And I remember we all got together and we saw this and we made it a thing. And we've done that for just about every Pixar movie since, up into Incredibles 2. And so, yeah, I definitely remember this being a joyous occasion for me. I couldn't remember what happened in the movie at all though before this.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't a movie that stuck with me. I'll tell you that because I went into this with no recollection of like how it went down, what
Mhm.
happened.
I yeah, it just I feel like I did. I don't know. Maybe I did see it in theaters, and I just like it didn't leave that big of an impact on me. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just I remember like certain key moments and funny things that stick out. But then when I watched it again, I'm like, this is probably my third, fourth
Hmm.
time watching this. Um,
Now, having seen this movie, and we won't get to like your all your feelings on this movie, but just more so on the Cars franchise,
yeah,
would you say it belongs on the Mount Rushmore of Cars movies?
yeah,
The Cars
yeah. I would say,
franchise? Like, would you put like their little ping, their little V on there or something?
yeah, I'd say so. Like, I think like it. I know the Cars universe gets a lot of like flack for being like maybe like too childish or something, but it's like these are the kind of movies that I would have eaten up as a kid,
Hmm.
playing with Hot Wheels and having them talk to each other. Like that's the divergence of two things that, kids enjoy is anthropomorphic things and cars,
I was trying
and
to think of like what, because I feel like this would be like the generation right behind us.
mhm,
This would be like their movie about cars for a while until they get to be older and Fast and the Furious brings them home to more of adult centric movies.
yeah.
But I can't think of like what would be what Gone in 60 Seconds maybe, or like what are some other major car movies? I can't think of any ones that like are staples to car washers.
I mean, for probably like our generation and around it, like maybe like yeah, a lot of heist movies were built around cars around
Well, I
that
mean,
time, like you were saying. Yeah.
even before our time though, Marco. Like,
Yeah.
what's our parents' car movie? Like, what's their like go to? Like, oh yeah, that's the one. Is it like
Smokey and the Bandit, Italian Job. I don't know. It's like, yeah,
like
it's
Smoking the Bandit has a car in it, but it's not. I mean, I don't know. You see what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, is it like
Hmm.
is it Knight Rider? But like that's not really like a car. It's a show that it's the only show that has like a car as a supporting character.
Yeah.
Is it
I think
Herbie?
maybe Herbie, maybe Herbie.
I'm saying I don't like to admit that, but is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it just it feels like Cars tapped into this need that's always been there but had never been
Hmm.
done. Like you sit there and you think, oh yeah, Cars always been around, and then you look back and you're like, there really weren't that many. Like there's Susie the Little Blue Coupe from Disney, where like that was a short where the cars had eyes on the windshield, and then yeah, I
Yeah.
can't putt the computer game like
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I say that's on
yeah.
there for sure. But
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
just me. That's just me. 'Cause I'm just a little man. Just trying to take a nap on Hushabye Mountain. That's me.
I didn't see that movie until a lot later, and
Really.
I watching it as
That
not an
blows my mind, Marco, because I can see like baby Marco being so pleasantly like just put to sleep by that. Yeah, exactly. Ah.
no, my comfort movie, I think about it all the time, where it's like there's certain
Song of the
movies
South.
that
I knew it, dude.
which
Just
which
Song
one?
of the South.
Oh no. The movie that I watched the most, like my mom said I watched a lot when I was younger. The two movies that I have distinct memories of being very little watching are Little Nemo's Adventures in Slumberland.
I just put that on for my girlfriend like 3 days ago. It is amazing.
And
Love it.
we were, I think, did we talk about this? We talked about how like a lot of people talk about like, oh, Inception was my first like abstract concept of like dreams and dreams within dreams, and I'm like, Little
Nemo
Nemo
goes
gets
hard.
Little Nemo gets bonkers.
Yeah.
That
It's like
movie,
Inception and James the Giant Peach go at
yeah.
it.
And the other movie that I watched a lot when I was younger was Three Caballeros.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, I think it
Dude, that is hilarious.
does it tell you a lot about me though? Just
You're gonna, dude. I hope you find a Shakira-esque girlfriend, and you're like, "Oh, this is my favorite movie. It's Three Caballeros."
Three Caballeros, you see?
And
It
she's like,
gives a
"Oh, that is my favorite movie."
a very accurate depiction of Mexico if I were a duck. You see?
Oh
The
man,
Araquan
that's
bird.
great. I think that's very fitting of you. That's wonderful. So worldly,
But
Marco. Your
yeah,
experience.
yes, very much so. Yeah, take the world tour with Disney
Put that on
films.
your Tinder.
World traveler. I've seen Three Caballeros like a couple of times. So
Bilingual.
Cars 3 starts very similarly to how Cars 1 does. It's at a race. They fly in by your favorite blimp, the
Yep.
Lightyear tire blimp.
I think
Um,
it's just a sweet little call out.
it
There's
is.
not, especially for this one, which I think we'll talk about. It's kind of lacking in one-offs in comparison to
Yeah.
the other ones. But
Yeah.
I do enjoy me a good Lightyear blimp.
And like it's fun to see like some of the returning characters, like McQueen's biggest fan, the RV,
Hmm.
and like the Radiator Springs gang and stuff like that. Um, there's some interesting callbacks to other characters, and you see, you mentioned this, that by this point it's been 10 years since Lightning McQueen's rookie season. So how have these characters progressed? What are they doing? Lightning's still racing.
Hmm.
Chick Hicks has taken the sportscaster route.
He's such a great character, dude. I wish
Um,
wasn't it Will Arnett in the first one?
it was Michael Keaton.
Was Michael Keaton in the first one?
Yeah.
I wish it was still him.
I
I
don't
do wish it was still him.
know what
I get it because he's such a small character. You don't need Michael, but at the same time, I bet you Michael Keaton just comes in and does it.
I think by the time this movie came out, I think it was right around when Birdman came out. So I think maybe there was like scheduling, or maybe
Don't be
like
mad at me. I've never seen Birdman.
I haven't either.
You haven't either?
I've been in. If you talk to me about the Oscars and honestly the pat like 15 years ago talked to me about the Oscars, and I was the person that was going to the Best Picture showcase where I would sit in a movie theater for 10 hours and watch 5 movies in a row. Yeah, and that was something, it was $30. It was a great deal. And I did it for 3 years. And also possibly led to one of my
Put that on your Tinder too, dude.
But, oh no, Birdman was 2014. So I don't know what Michael Keaton was doing in 2017, or like, I'm sure it's online as to what probably was going on.
Probably
scheduling.
The Vulture in Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so like by this point in the movie that they're talking about how like there's a lot about legacy. There's a lot about like what you do as you progress. I made a note because I like seeing that was just the camaraderie amongst the veteran racers where they're just like, hey man, like, you know, they're goofing.
Yeah, I like seeing that. It was a pleasant because when Chick was there with them, that was mortal enemies, you know, and it was cool to see like, no, we compete at the highest level, but we're good. It's kind of like today's NBA with how LeBron James is everyone's best friend.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like most, like, not all sports, I feel like baseball and like basketball have that. Football doesn't have that as much. Mm-hmm. But like that whole thing where it's like, yeah, you're going to bounce around to different teams. Be friendly with everybody, and you'll be fine. Yeah. So I think it made it all the more impactful. That's the purpose of this. It made it all the more impactful when you started to see them kind of get picked off, and a progress starts to take a toll on racing. And I think it's interesting too, where it's NASCAR. It's effectively NASCAR. They never really say it, but it's stock car NASCAR.
It's 100% is. Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly that, stock car. Go ahead.
And there was a lot of there was a little bit of interesting crossover in cars too, where it was like you were getting the rally cars, you were getting the stock cars, you were getting the F1, and you're like, these cars would never race against each other. Obviously, in this world, it makes sense. And then they kind of pulled back and went back to stock cars, and I am not as steeped in racing nomenclature and stuff. So I thought it was funny with.
Don't you kind of feel like this one was kind of aimed, kind of like the first one, at getting more people into stock car racing?
Yeah, I think so, because I've unfortunately been one of the people that have comedically referred to NASCAR as like a 2-hour, 3-hour left turn. Granted, I know you put me in a NASCAR car, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Maybe I'd get it to go. I'd probably stall.
Chat, if we can raise enough money, I will put GoPro and Marco inside of a NASCAR, and we can all watch it together on Instagram Reels.
I thought you were leading that to we can do a Sean and Marco NASCAR car.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Just have their faces on the side.
We're in the back seat with the guy driving, doing the Sean and Marco show.
What are we doing?
Power scaling on this week. We feel that.
I think it'd be neat to do one of those racing experiences that they have in the desert, where it's either stock car. Honestly, I would be fine to just do a ride along, and I know it requires crazy amount of skill.
I can set that up for you. You can go to Irwin. My dad's got race cars. I'll just put you in the passenger seat.
He'll sit there as a co-pilot. Yeah, I'd be down. We can do that. We can do Sean and Marco on the
I'll
road.
Be honest, Marco. It's scary, man. Especially in the seat that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You can trust my father or whatever race car driver he puts you with, but also
there's no glove compartment to grab.
To not be the one that's got your hand on the steering wheel, when you're going over 100 miles an hour. It's scary, man. Yeah. It does not feel good.
I am rather thrill averse, except for Six Flags swings. And I think the last time I felt crazy speed was I went to Philadelphia and met up with my cousin, and her husband rode a motorcycle, and he's like, you want to go for a ride? I'm like, sure. And I'm like, well, where's the helmet? He's like, what do you mean? We just got on the back of the motorcycle.
You're in the country, boy.
Well, no, we were in the city. We were in South Philly. But what was funny too was at the time I was foolish. It was summer in Philly, so it was hot, and so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in flip flops. So the whole trip I'm in rainbows, and so we get on the back of a motorcycle, and I'm wearing flip flops. And we just rocketed off through traffic, and I just remember my hands freezing because we were going so quick. And I just remember I'm curling my toes trying to hold on to my. You ever had
your shoes?
Foot cramp? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
that's probably the most like thrilling. I need to hit up a friend of mine who does I got a couple friends that do drifting, and I want to
Drifting. Whoa, Marco. Dude, I think you're about the Tokyo Drift lifestyle.
dun, 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 dun. That's we gotta put that in the sound system. But so with Cars 3, though, I thought it was interesting that the type of car, the new generation car, I don't think there's like a one-to-one of the new generation, but they all look similar, but very different from your typical stock car. They look like they're like electric cars. The sound, I feel like the sound they were putting off too was giving kind of this like
dude, I had the exact same thought about how they sounded like they were electric for sure.
Yeah.
They're so zippy instead of being so wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. There wasn't like a low end to them, but like I remember there's a clip I should find. Actually, I'll take a note of it now so I can add this into there's this video where it was I can't remember, there's a famous hill climb race. And it's a rally car, and there was a team, I can't remember which one did it, but they had like an electric one. And you can tell that it's not going as fast as it probably could on like certain turns because it weighs so much. You hear it really like reel down, but the second it comes out of those turns, it's ripping. And you just hear it like hit this level of like, oh, I'm used to hearing a gear change in an electric car go to the certain like RPM, and then it just like goes above that. Yeah, and it keeps going, and you're like, oh my God, this thing. And
yeah.
That I think is really neat. And so like watching the movie, and well, what's your thought on Jackson Storm as a villain?
Immediately, my first thought is how is Mater gonna take this guy out?
What's he gonna do?
I know. I know it's the story of Lightning McQueen. I know that it's his franchise. It's Owen Wilson's franchise. I get it, but we know who the real star is here, and it's not. It's
Mater's world.
Yeah, it really is. At least you understand that. We got some people over at Pixar that need some explaining to do. That's my first thought, especially with the whole last movie. They take out the hybrid electric people, whatever it was, in the last movie. So I was thinking like, oh, here we go. It's going to be round 2. They try to come back in this form, but see, Hydra always gets taken down. Let's do this.
I think what was interesting too is like Jackson Storm is, how there's like some villains where you're like, I can see why you like him, like the Captain Hook, like, oh, he's fun, he's flamboyant, he's but like Jackson Storm like played wonderfully by Armie Hammer. I liked him as an actor until certain recent news came up about him, and he's a less than palatable actor, double meaning there. But I think what was interesting was the mind games and the gaslighting he did. I think that was interesting, that was his strategy. And you're like, geez, like this is heavy. It was almost like 80s level movie.
Well, Marco, you're 30. I'm 30. It hurt my feelings, some of the things that were being said. I was just like, oh man, I gotta figure am I over the hill?
What's going on here? Hold on a second. I take personal offense to that cartoon car. Hold on.
Yeah.
Catch me outside. I'm gonna go get come here, Ty. I'm gonna get my little piece of the spark plug that I throw through the window, and I'm gonna get my little
my big RPMs, guy. Yeah, nice to finally beat you.
That was like
that. I sat there.
Yeah, that was it took you a second, and like you say me, I was like, whoa, wait a second, hold on, hold on. Yeah, at least he's being honest. Oof, that's a slippery slope there, but I get you. Yeah, like there were so many things that they were all backhanded compliments, which is really impressive considering that he's a car and doesn't have any hands to have a backup.
Well, but it's incredibly witty. You caught that. That was something
give him
for
that.
sure.
We'll give him that.
Well, I mean, because this is quick banter that he's got. Unless at the same time he could be like somebody else I know and just talk to himself in the shower a lot, and he might have just had that conversations before.
In the shower.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
They had Dynaco and all the other characters cruise on in, and it was.
I'm still thinking though, where's Mater? What's Mater gonna do? This guy we can't let him do this.
He had a lot of really good hats, Mater, in this film. He had the Piston Cup hat. He had the dinosaur hat. He had the lightning. I'm surprised they don't sell the dinosaur in the parks. I'd wear that.
I
I'd wear
would too. A
foam
foam
hats
dino.
are underrated. Foam hats are underrated.
Completely
Like
underrated. Couldn't
you
agree
get
more,
them.
sir.
Yeah, it's like I mean, like I think I don't have any. I have too many
How
hats.
about this, Marco?
Hmm.
How jealous are you of the state of Wisconsin because they get to wear cheese foam on their head, man? I am.
I
I am. What do we got? Rams don't got that like that. You know what I'm saying?
I
It's
mean,
nowhere near as
Dodgers.
cool.
Yeah, Dodgers don't have anything. Angels, we just have the rally monkey, and we don't have any
No,
fun
no.
hats.
For a while, the Angels had a cool one, and it was when you guys sucked real bad. Excuse me, when
Oh,
they sucked real bad. They had the Trouts.
oh yeah, yeah.
That was cool. That was pretty cool, to be honest. I thought that was rad.
Remember Thundersticks? Remember
Yes.
how loud? Oof.
Yes. No, you know what I remember? And it was a killer marketing scheme. The rally monkey, bro.
Oh yes.
When the rally monkey came out, I remember like everyone's grandma had like, well, I got this color and this color, and we got all
Yeah,
this
there's a new
one.
Beanie Baby.
Yeah, and you'd be at the gas station, and there'd be rally monkeys on sale. You'd be like, well, I might as well get one. You know, it's only $6.
Garfield
Yep.
versus the rally monkey.
Oh man. So we keep going. This dude is just mollywhopping Lightning through the whole series, and we get to the end of the Piston Cup, and I'm still thinking, Mater.
Where's Mater?
You know, like where's the big plan? You know, call up Finn McMissile. We got somebody to blow. We got a factory to blow up. You know,
the movie's just really short, where it's like just Lightning McQueen getting bullied. Hey Mater, I could use some help here. Hey Finn, can we call in an aerial strike? It's like
whatever you need, Mater.
Sure, Mater. We'll call in an aerial
Royal
strike.
Air Force is at your beck and call.
Just like Joe playing and going, what's that? Oh wait,
They're
hold on.
playing God Save the Queen while they're dropping bombs. Oh man, that'd be great. That would be great.
Just dropping a bomb that says like Lightning McQueen says hello.
Can I say that would be less sad than what takes place next, which is a 24-second car accident of Lightning McQueen? Just like heart-wrenching. We're getting to this point now, I feel like, especially with just children's movies in general. We're getting to a point now where children's movies in general are taking turns for more adult and more adult themed when it comes to the drama they bring.
Mm-hmm.
And like the amount of weight that they put on people and just have it all crumble on them in these movies, it's staggering, because I mean they're still made for children, you know, and kids can be let down by the fact they don't know how to tie their own shoe yet, you know, and it's a trip that they bring that to light in these movies in these grandiose ways that we as adults still have a hard time dealing with.
Yeah.
And it is a way that as adults and kids can connect, but it's kind of a scary undertaking, I feel like, for a picture house to take on, you know, to introduce some of these darker themes, I feel like.
Well, I think there are a lot of, I mean, it's like, I don't think the movies that we watched when we were growing up were particularly like, you know, the lessons that came from them were, you know, like, try hard, try again. If something fails, and, you know, just keep dogging it, keep working on it. And I think Pixar, we're not in the middle of it now. Like I sit there and say like Monsters MU kind of brought this into the concept, but it came in earlier, where we talked about the concept of like, what you want isn't what you're going to get, but what you find because you find out. The journey's the reward. Sorry, I was sitting there being very verbose about that. But
no, I hear you. I was following you.
Yeah, you're going to find something that you didn't know existed while looking for the thing you thought you wanted. And that happens in this movie very well too. I would say 2017. I was definitely in. I'll kind of loop this back. This is not my story. This is not me watching the movie going like, yeah, I feel this. Like I feel it because around that time, like at this point, I've been working at the same job for 6-7 years, and certain things have been passed up, and you're sitting there going, okay, well, what is my place? Where do you go? You know, you get beaten up, and you got to figure out what you're going to do next. And so, like, I think the next scene where like Lightning is back in Radiator Springs with snow, which is neat. Which
Yeah.
it is really fun. Did you like Primer McQueen?
I thought it was kind of sweet. I will say, before we get too far into Primer McQueen,
Mhm.
when you brought it up, the snow over Radiator Springs. Radiator Springs looks the same but very different.
Oh yeah,
in the sense that like
it's sharp as a tack.
Yeah, it looks like the Good Dinosaur version of Radiator Springs. It looks like you're looking at a realistic photo of a place, and there's not even in the. I wrote down cartoon cars, but that's not even true. It's more like real cars with personified cartoon eyes, but that's it. But like where we're at now with textures is another level. So the gravel looks real. You know, the trees, the way that each leaf moves is believable. The way the light goes through the trees, it all shimmers perfectly. Then when they get to the cars, and there's a lot of really, really good scenes where the camera is right on the edge of the hood, and you can see just a bit of the car and whatever. It's like a first-person view, essentially. And in these scenes, it looks like you're looking out of a real car. Like the way the metal and the way the light refracts off the metals and the way there's pearlescence or the way that it's crumpled and there's imperfections in it, it just all is so believable. And so by the time we get over here to Radiator Springs, we talk about it each episode, like where we're at with 3D rendering, and I am in awe, and it's something that I'm excited about because I mean, like, you know, the Good Dinosaur was lacking a little bit in entertainment, I would say, compared to a lot of the other movies. And that might be because of, you know, a lack of advertising or whatnot. But in this one, I wasn't all the way bought in until I saw the car crash, until I saw, and when it comes out of the car crash into that, I was like, oh, okay. I started to catch in. I was like, I didn't know what movie I was watching still. I didn't know what we were, like, you mentioned some things earlier about how you heard them talking about legacy a lot and things like that. And a lot of that kind of went over my head. Mind you, legacy means a lot to me personally, but I didn't catch that as like, is that what this is about? And I didn't feel like that's what direction we were going. And so in this moment, I'm still not positive all the way. I'm thinking, okay, it's a comeback story. It looks like, you know, like this is going to be about what it's like to be pushed down and what it's like to persevere. You know, and we've seen that before in Pixar movies. And I was thinking, okay, so we're going back to somewhere familiar. And I was still basically wrong still because I hadn't quite figured out that it was a sports movie above all yet.
The flashbacks to Doc Hudson during the scene are particularly interesting because this isn't the first time. I don't think it's the first time that they did anything like this where they had one of the major players pass away before the production. And they were able to go through old takes and just certain lines that applied elsewhere and make it apply to this film. And I think it's the most tasteful way they could do that. Because I'm the type of person, like, I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person that like those Elvis records where they duet with him. For some, like that, they did that with Frank Sinatra. For some reason, that just makes me kind of go, ooh.
Like, it makes you cringe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't, it's not that I dislike it, I'm just kind of like, that's, And so, like, when they do that kind of stuff with films, I'm like, it has to be done right. And I think they did it just enough. Doc Hudson has his
because he's barely in it.
Yeah.
You know, and even for as centric of a character as Hudson is to this movie, even, you know, he is barely in it. And I remember watching it going like, because I couldn't remember if we had this conversation. He died before the second one, right?
I will check that now. Oh,
No, he was still alive in the second one. No, he was still alive. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out, like, you know, where was he in the last one? You know, like the sheriff guy. I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to put the puzzle pieces together on the whole thing, and like, I don't know. I thought they did a great job. It was real tasteful this time. I was a little confused by Sheriff. I wish that he would have had a little more lines just to differentiate Hudson from him, because I feel like that's confusing the children as well. But maybe that's what they want, so we don't have the idea of them actually losing a character like that, you know?
Paul Newman passed away in 2008. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
That's crazy.
So,
Like shortly after, because like Cars was what, 2007? Cars 2006. Yeah. Wow.
yeah, so he wasn't even around for Cars 2. So I was gonna say, I feel like he was just, they did the same thing in Cars 2. And he had minimal lines and was handled well, but they didn't
Yeah.
bring up his death or anything. And in this
Yeah.
one, it's just he's gone. So I was just kind of trying to figure it all out and kind of understand where they were leaving us with that whole story. I thought the introduction of Smokey with him, like in the beginning, just kind of peppering him in there as a little just tasteful foreshadowing. I thought that was wonderful, like just a good piece because you're sitting. They don't give you a way out. They barely give you a problem this one. It just kind of looks like it's the end for him, and he's got to overcome it.
Package was just dropped off. I'm gonna go outside.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear some clicking, everyone. But keep talking, Sean.
Do
We're in
your
Radiator
thing.
Springs.
Yeah, so we're in Radiator Springs. It looks beautiful. You got Sally over here. She's trying to talk him into coming out of his shell. And it's just a trip because, like, we've been here before. And I'm sitting there wondering, where are we going to go next? Like, how is this different, you know? In every movie, he's not good enough, and he has to find a way to overcome. You know, first one, he has to learn how to turn in the dirt, basically. And then, you know, the second one, it's all Mater. And at this point, I'm still wondering how Mater's going to be involved, but I've kind of come to the realization that Mater's not going to be a main character, and it sucks, dude. Even in this moment where he asks his best friend for advice in town, or no, he comes in and he says, "Did you use your lawyer powers on her?" I'm so excited, I'm jumping out of my seat, and that's all I get. That's all I get. So after that, we move back and we go to the Rusty's Training Center. And we get back to this theme of legacy that you're talking about, and they won't stop talking about how, you know, he's got this legacy that he's going to have when he's done, and basically giving him the option to be done or keep going, and he decides to keep pushing through. And we get
they
to
were
meet.
kind of forcing him into retirement. Really,
yeah,
like wasn't
but
great.
that's where you get this is a sports movie, you know, and that's exactly what this is. It is a sports movie because it's a common theme, something that anybody who plays professional sports has to deal with. You know, you don't always get to choose when you're done, and I guess it's just not as relatable because I'm not a professional athlete. You know, so it was harder for me in this moment to kind of get the buy-in to where I wanted to be. They're getting me, they're losing me. I'm kind of up and down.
Let's see.
We get to meet Cruz at this point, and Cruz starts kind of showing us her chops on the training, the simulator, which is a big deal because we've seen Storm on the simulator, and now we see her on it, and she jams. She goes like 187. We know at this point that they peppered in earlier that Storm is doing 207.
Yeah,
and so you know that, like, even though she's in the upper percentile, she's not even doing that. But it's still impressive what she's able to do. And then she goes over and teaches Zumba essentially to all the other cars.
Yeah, so that was a good like series of gags there. I really liked the I'm a happy cloud. I'm a fluffy cloud.
I'm a fluffy cloud. I'm a fluffy cloud.
I don't know if you caught the Easter egg that occurs during that scene as well. When one of the cars is homesick, they flash a photo of a plaza, and it's the plaza from Coco.
Oh, which hasn't even appeared yet.
Right. Yeah, it's like
that's
two.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Every single time
I think it was Coco.
something peppered from the next movie. So that's a cool little something. That makes sense. That would make sense. Yeah, I can see the little things hanging in my head.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I was worried for a second. I was like, hold on. I was like, I usually have.
What about like lefty, righty, Backy, and Backy Jr.?
I really like that gag too. I don't know why. Just Lightning McQueen has some really great sarcastic moments, and he really, you know, he does the like in the first one where it's like, you too can be like me, ciao, and a whole lot of luck. You know, and so in this one, when they're like, "Can you name your tires?" He's like, lefty, righty, Backy, Backy Jr. Just like I think if I ever need to name 4 things, I'm just gonna be Backy, righty, lefty. Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty solid. Yeah, I still feel like it was lacking in the one-offs. Like there was I feel you had to have a list of like 500 one-offs. And I know they do. I've seen the behind the scenes on these movies. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of one-off jokes they have for Cars. And why aren't there more tied in? It's such a fun universe and so easy to do. You know, like
Yeah, I think they kind of pulled back on like the world specific jokes where it's like, you know, there's no car accessible toilets. There's no like that concept. Less car potty humor and um yeah, there really weren't any moments where I was like, oh yeah, I guess this is a car world. Like maybe when like, you know, when Sterling cruises down the stairs and it's just like a, you know, just a ramp.
yeah.
But this is Nathan Fillion's second
Nathan
appearance.
Fillion's phenomenal in this.
Yeah.
Who else did he play in Pixar?
He played the fraternity brother in Monsters Youth.
Yes. I
And
knew. I was
very
trying to figure it out.
he's very good at playing these like charismatic douches.
Pompous a-holes.
Yeah. Just like,
We said the same thing.
I like
We
how we're
said
both
the
just like
same
a
thing.
descriptive word and a curse word. I hope nobody's listening to this around their kids. I don't know. I don't
I
put
hope
the
they are.
explicit
You know
tag
what?
on it,
Because
but
if
like
this is the introduction to those kind of curse words, I think that's a nice little, like just
an
a
honor.
small little olive branch into the speaking like a pirate lane.
Yar. Dagnabbit.
Is there there's not a pirate Pixar movie, is there?
No, not yet. I'm trying to think of a way that they could.
There should definitely be a pirate Pixar movie. I'm not a Pirates of the Caribbean, but you know what I'm saying? That's a good one.
Yeah,
It's a good
pirates
theme.
or prospectors. A lot of colorful. Man, we could get a dark reboot of like the Stinky Pete story.
Oh man, that's what I call my. All right, never mind. I'm not gonna say. That's what I call myself when I fart in front of my girlfriend. Stinky Pete. Anyways, back to reality.
My biscuits are burning,
Speaking of
Sean.
awkward moments, when he breaks the sim, I wanted to stand up and leave the room, and I was alone, and I was just like, "Oh, dude, you just undid it, boy."
And that was the moment he realized that he'd. Yeah, it was very. Yeah, secondhand embarrassment. At this point, like you like the character of Lightning, you understand his motive. Like they do a very good job of developing the character and that leading up to that moment for that payoff where you're like, you want him to do well, but you want him to do what he's supposed to do, and you're like, come on, man, come on, come on, man, you know. So that whole situation, you know,
you could see Sterling, it going wrong the second that they plugged the things into his wheels. You're like, oh, this is not going to go well.
Yeah. And I do like the if the metaverse is anything like that sim where it simulates the crowds outside and such commands as you are on fire, you are in the air. maybe if that's the future we're going into, I'm okay with like that level of detail. But instead, what we're getting things that are worse than things in 2007 being hailed as you know, the new world, the Matrix. Seeing the scene afterwards, so like going straight from the sim to cutting to Sterling chewing out Cruz from behind closed doors, that's another moment of like it's the rough patch, it's the conflict before the breakthrough, it's the trials and tribulations, and
it really felt like the scene all over again was pulled straight from Monsters U with Nathan Fillion. Just that like elitist attitude.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't belong here.
You could tell. I get bugged when I see people treat others like that. I just get bugged.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, I would say I'm thankful that I don't think I've ever had that directly said to me. I've definitely seen that. Just like workplaces are weird, man.
Yeah, they can definitely be weird.
They could really. Yeah.
I thought it was cool though. So we go from inside of there. We see how dark Nathan Fillion is, which is what you're expecting at this point, because you're kind of waiting for the shoe to drop with this character the entire time.
He's secondary villain. Yeah.
And we finally see it. Okay, cool. He's trying to push Lightning out. And you know what? He might actually like Lightning McQueen. That's one thing I think is lost in the whole thing. Is I think he might really be a fan. You know, because he did buy a company. He did put together that training facility. Like, I think he truly was a Lightning McQueen fan, but an entrepreneur first. And
capitalism corrupts all, Sean.
But exactly that, you know. And I was kind of, I feel like the artist, the writer's way of kind of putting that into the script, you know, is having that little neg towards capitalism, essentially. That, hey, man, like, even the people that are trying to help can also hurt you. Yeah. From there, we get to go to the beach, though, which I thought was a trip, because now, once again, you take out the characters and just show me the setting. I can't tell that it's not real. It does look like a setting straight out of The Good Dinosaur, like straight out of The Good Dinosaur.
Piper's Beach. Just like
it was so cool. And then we get this whole training moment of where, once again, like, I realized once that we saw Cruz was on the training simulator, I was like, that's our person. Yeah, you know, that's all, like, I could tell was that she was gonna be like, that's a main character. That's for sure. There's something there, you know. I didn't know if we. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, just you keep seeing repeatedly that, like, once she gets the hang of it, she's better. Like, and it's just, he's coaching. Like, it's funny, even as early as the beach scene, he's coaching her, and that's hinted at. Right?
But not only is he coaching her, he's coaching her well. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's the other thing. You know, like, he's speaking straight to her, like, and she's getting it, and she respects him. She says it, like, how much Mr. McQueen, that he can tell, like, she the way that she is a trainer to others, she sucks up everything from Lightning McQueen as well. And like, when she's trying to go easy on Lightning, you realize, especially the moment that he gets on the simulator, she really is trying to protect him. Like, as slow as they're trying to go, is she's trying to just slowly see, without hurting you in any way, what are your limits, you know? And even like your patience, I'm testing that too. And it was a trip to see how wonderful she could be the second that, because I mean, she's not that far behind Lightning once he hits his top speed on the beach. And that's only her, like, first time going in a straight line on sand.
When you're talking about coaching, I got the mental image of Lightning McQueen as Mickey from Rocky.
Oh yeah,
primer gray, and he's got like a little hat.
Get the chicken up. You gotta get the chicken.
but it's still Lightning McQueen. So it's still like, come on, Cruz. You're gonna need lightning and crap thunder. Good job.
That's good.
Bitch, Lightning McQueen loves you.
You know, and it feels like that's really the energy that he's brought to this, though, is the whole, like, all right, I don't train like Apollo Creed. I don't train like that Russian guy inside the big whatever. I go to the cold and I beat up, you know, frozen pig carcasses. I catch chickens. I run in the snow. That's the way Rocky Balboa trains, and that's the way Lightning McQueen trains. Ker-chow, brother. You're not down with that. I got 2 words for you. Just kidding. Anyways, so we move on down to Thunder Hollow, which follows right into this Macho Man Randy Savage thing I got going on right now.
We got wrestling, we've got racing, backwoods racing.
Dude, I was so into this. This was cool.
That's a whole world I would love to see, like the Cars tunes, the Mater shorts. Give us more of Thunder Hollow. That was a lot of fun, and I think
I would think that a lot of the people who live in the real life Thunder Hollows of the world were so pumped to see this part of the movie, like see themselves represented in some way. Of like, oh, we go down to the Demolition Derby every Thursday. They got $1.50 beers. It's a good time. I tell you what.
It makes me want to go to one of these or something similar. Like I was watching as soon as I finished watching Cars 3, I pulled up the Figure 8 RV races.
Yep.
Have you seen? And I was like, I kind of want to go to these. But
blow up, Marco.
This thing blow up. I just think what's so crazy with it is, like, you know, it's going to be a hell of a race when the first thing that they say is, spectators, step away from the barricades. And then you just see, like, stuff exploding and, like, boats getting crashed into. And I'm just watching that going, like, that can't be safe.
How they got a boat on the dirt?
How they got a boat? Well, there's one of them, I'll pull it up. It's a boat. There's a car pulling a trailer with a boat. And then behind the boat, dragging in the dirt, is a jet ski. And
That's hectic.
I'll pull up that footage, and the problem with that is the cameraman on that is really bad. But with Thunder Hollow, you got Miss Fritter, who I think may break the top 15 power. She gets flipped over quickly, but I think if she wasn't in the right, if she was in her element.
You know what? I'll add her to the mix. If you look at the bottom of our show notes, I figured we'd end with that. So I'm gonna put her in there. We can have a discussion about her.
Yeah.
You know, we'll shelf that. I hear you. She can be brought up. She can be brought up. I'm glad you did that, because I'll be honest, I didn't have any new joinees. Like Thunder, Storm, he's not doing nothing to hurt nobody. His character is barely even malicious.
Yeah.
You know, he's basically Iceman from Top Gun. Yeah, that's basically his character. Oh, man.
With Thunder
But
Hollow,
Miss Fritter, yes, incredibly powerful and intimidating. Definitely very intimidating.
Yeah. Thunder Hollow, I think, was a really neat scene because it just does everything so well. Where it's just like there's a cast of characters that like they immediately make themselves known. You've got the car that's bent in half driving along. You get the
that was a good one off.
You got the
that was a good one off. When he gets smacked and he gets straightened out and then he gets smacked again.
There's I can't remember that car's name. I'm sure someone knows it. You could buy that as a car, as a toy car. Like they had him like permanently bent, and I'm like, you're buying him,
dude. That's me and my back, man. Straight up.
Well, I think what's really fascinating with like merch like that, I think with like selling a car that's already beaten up, it's like whoever, what the most brilliant thing I think in toys and honestly the last like 12 years is, you ever go to the mall and you see those balloon pets?
Yeah.
It's a half inflated balloon they're selling for $12 with feet on it. You know who the first guy was like, we don't have to fill these balloons all the way. We just have to fill them so they kind of flutter along, and we just put feet on it, and then we pretend it's a dog.
Winner!
Give him all the money.
Yeah.
And so like that car is one of those things where it's like it's like when you buy like a car, those Cars toys that are already like distressed, like whoever came up with the Hot Wheels cars that already have battle damage. Anyone who did battle damage toys.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like getting stonewashed jeans.
Yeah. Pre-ripped
You're
jeans.
just like, pre-ripped jeans. Like, well, I'm in
distressed tees.
My ribs, I got rips in these ones right now. It's on the thighs though, because your man is a little bit shock.
See, like not buying distressed T-shirts is one of the things that has kept me from buying a lot of T-shirts, and it bums me out because like you'll see a shirt where you're like, oh, I love this shirt. I just wish that it wasn't like the logo wasn't patchy. Like I know like every Target graphic tee has that, and I get it. Like it's a money saving thing, and it looks cool. It does look neat. Having a shirt that gets beaten up is really neat. But I just wish it doesn't have the.
It does feel better when it's your shirt that's beaten up though. It feels way better.
Yeah. So back to Thunder Hollow, we get the Pizza Planet truck.
Bam!
We have 1 minute left, and it's doing this thing again. I guess we just have to start doing it like this.
All
right. So we have 1 minute.
Yo, Jordashian, come right back, and
we will be back.
Scott me. I'll be right back. Funky Yo.
Time for a commercial break.
Live again. We seem to be reaching this 1 hour limit very quickly, and more often in the past couple weeks. And I don't know why. We've been fine doing hour and a half posts before, but I think what we probably have to do is just maybe use it as a commercial break. It might just be something that we'll
bug someone at Instagram. Talking about how we need to use this as a commercial break or something.
We're going to have to go full on Karen on Instagram is what's going to have to happen here.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
That or we got to find a way to actually put commercials into these breaks, because it'd be sweet if we could do that.
We've got
O'Reilly. Auto Parts.
Ow! You saw the Macho Man. You saw someone did a Macho Man O'Reilly on TikTok.
Oh. Yeah, I saw that. Wonderful.
So I think this is like this. I was like, it worked out. We're gonna work with this. We're gonna roll with the punches. Hi everyone, thank you for tuning back in immediately. So the Pizza Planet truck appears in Thunder Hollow, which is awesome.
It does. And honestly, it's a sick Pizza Planet truck too, dude. Yeah. Like the idea of it being in the demolition derby is exactly where it belongs. Like if it was supposed to retire anywhere, exactly where it belongs.
Yeah. There are a couple other Pizza Planet trucks around the country, and one of the earliest ones that we were in contact with was there's Le Mans, the 24-hour race, and then there is the 24 hours of Le Mans, which is lemons, and you have to specifically buy a vehicle that I think you buy for less than $500 and put less than $1,000 into, or something along those lines. Or we thought about doing it before, but there is like a racing Pizza Planet truck, I think in Northern California. And I remember when I saw that scene, I was like, oh man, I thought of these guys, because just like this car that's just getting the snot kicked out of it the whole time while it's driving, has the rocket blown off at one point, which pains me. I've had,
you've been there, brother.
We've been there. We've had things fly off the truck before. We've had things fly off the truck before. We've had people run onto a freeway.
I will say, when that rocket gets thrown into the audience and it stops, I paused it and I looked at it and I was like, dude, that looks like our rocket. Like it looks like the wooden fins.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just, I mean, the only thing different is it's got a silver little thing in the back on the booster. But besides that, I was like, yo, that looks pretty strikingly like because I mean, like the rocket from Toy Story looks like our first gen rocket that we put together, which was beautiful and everything. But our new gen rocket that's on top of the truck now looks eerily similar to what you see in this particular movie.
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job of like replicating how they look in the movies and stuff, and it's just like the one in the movie, in this one, it definitely is like it's meant to be. It almost feels like it's heavier than like you'd think it would be when it bounces and kind of flings around. I'm like, oh, and
I feel as though, I mean, this is where I'm at. This is why you saw on there, like I was really excited, and like I said, like I feel as though, because it's such a realistic, like the photorealism in this movie is next level on the cars, even at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if there was pictures pulled from us on the internet in our truck and they were used for this. Like, I'm serious, Marco. Like, I'm looking at it going like, wow. Because even like you said, like the way that it looks like it's weighted, that's the way ours looks like it's weighted. It's much more hollow than that, and it's not. But it looks like that, Yeah. I was impressed. I'm excited.
I love the fact that like they're like, I got it, and like when you think about it, it's like that's a body part flying into that, like an arm, just like, or like okay, not a body part, a hat flew off, or a helmet.
Dude, the idea of it being a body part makes it hilarious.
So one thing that's funny though, there he goes. with the rocket, I gotta bring up that like the rocket that we currently use. When the parade rocket, the big one, the big boy, it's 7 years old now. It's made of wood, Bondo, and
7 years, 2022.
Yeah, that was the one that David put together.
I remember
month and a half.
I remember specifically, but I'm just saying 2017 was less than 7 years ago. And it's only adding fuel to my thought of, I think they might have used pictures of our rocket, dude. Like, I really do. I'm not saying I want anything. I'm just saying that's so cool. Like, if that's what happened, like if I could ever find out that Easter egg and find out that like, there were some kids in Southern California that built a truck that came up, and we decided we were making this next one. Like, why not just pull actual pictures and use that? And that would blow my mind.
I think it would be so neat, and I don't know anything about how. I don't know if it's even possible to do this, but like I know that toys have been made based on the data from the movies, and I've always been curious if there would be a way to just 3D print something straight from those source files. And obviously, like we wouldn't have access to that, but I'm like, that would be interesting. I know that like artistic interpretation and being able to look at something that doesn't exist in the real world and then making it something is really neat. But there is part of me that's just like, wouldn't it be neat to have something that is pulled straight from the data?
Yep, but I agree.
Getting ahead of myself.
No, I get. I think the same thing. Like, it's like, can it go both ways on that? And it's mostly just because of how realistic things look at this point in these worlds. Where you're just thinking like, where's the line on that, you know? And like it goes down to the flames in this whole thing are flames. Like they've got fire down in the Unreal Engine or whatever. I think they're using Unreal at this point. It looks amazing. The metal textures on cars. I brought it up once. Now I'm seeing like all these demoed cars and stuff, and they look like real cars. I'm freaking out, and I start freaking out even more after the race, where we see Lightning and Cruz get into it, and he gives her just basically a tongue lashing that wasn't meant for her. It was going to be given to whoever was in front of him at that point, which I think we can all probably connect with in some capacity. It sucks when you have emotions and the wrong people are in front of you. But I'm just sitting there thinking the whole time while they're having their serious conversation, like, I don't know that I like the way that they're moving now, because I just had this moment where they're sitting back there in the dark, basically behind Mac, that like they look so real.
Yeah.
And it really just kind of like, I was like, first I was like, they look like real people. I'm like, no, they look like real cars. And then like there's like a couple close-ups and a couple movement things where I was like, yo, the way that they're moving it doesn't make me feel comfortable. And that uncanny valley is being reached where I'm just like, I don't like this. I didn't. And it goes further because after that, you know, we get the, well, I guess I'll kind of skip ahead, but we get to see Mater, and he's on the phone with Lightning, and his like lips, like he's got skin. Mater's got skin, dude. It's not metal. Like he's got skin. He's got freckles.
While you were gone, Lightning, I am now Leatherface.
Yeah, dude. It was a trip, man. I don't know. The peak of uncomfortable realism was met for me in this. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I had a hard time with that.
Gotcha. I got to jump back real quick to Thunder Hollow because I love the name Chester Whipplefilter.
What was her name? Franz something?
I got to look at that one. But I do also like Max Wacko Flacco. Jack Wacko Jacko. I don't remember what it was. His clown company. Hold on. We're going to have a little bit of a typing interlude, everyone. We'll put a little bit of music over this. What I like about clickety-clack keyboards. Actually, I'll probably cut this out, so don't worry about
that. I'm like, what is it?
They were disguised as, oh, come on. Oh my gosh, this is a long...
Francis Beltline. There we go.
Francis Beltline, and he was Jocko Flacco's party supplies, which is pretty funny.
Good.
See, that's what we need to do next, Sean. We need to get a Big Mac truck. I was looking on government websites. You can buy one for $6,000.
Okay.
Without a trailer. Okay. And, you know, we just drive down the freeway.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
$6,000. Go ahead.
Yep. You can send us money or copy it. I don't know. There's so many copycats now. But
we're looking for an artistic sugar daddy, if you will.
A patron of the arts. You see. But with once they figure out where they need to get going, the old timey.
Well, they talk to Mater, and he says the line of like, well, I mean, whoever trained him, everyone's good. Everyone trained some, or everyone was taught by somebody. And of course, who moves this plot along but the hero
Mater.
of our franchise, Mater? And I was like, here we go, Mater. Take him to the South. It's your people. It's your time. Show them who it is to be told Mater. Show them the rope.
Pulling a Palpatine.
I was wrong again, Marco. Nothing happens with Mater again.
No. He's pulling a Palpatine. He's working in the back. Yes. Go down. Find
Palpatine Mater would be phenomenal.
Doc Hudson. Who trained the fabulous Hudson Hornet? Yes.
Mater, I don't know. I think I should retire.
Do it. Come back to Radiator Springs.
Cruise 55.
We have like a whole like line of merch now where we got like coming up that like Well, they did. I think they did do No, they did Palpatine. Did they do Palpatine Mater? What was the?
I think they have a Jedi Mater, and they also have a Vampire Mater. And if you use your memory together, you can make it into Palpatine Mater.
Well, I remember they did. Hold on. They did a line of Cars toys,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember they did. Oh no, Sarge was Emperor Palpatine in that.
Got it.
That's funny. Yeah, Mater was like. Yeah, Boba Fett was. Sorry. Chick Hicks was Boba Fett.
Oh God.
Mater was Lightning McQueen is Luke. Mater was who's Mater? I forgot about that time. I think they did Darth Mater.
Oh, I did see that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
that's one of those ones though.
That's a creepy one. To be honest, if a child's never seen Star Wars, that'll scare your kid for sure.
Yeah.
So we get down to the south. We see the Zumba blackmail working up against Cruz because nobody can handle that. Because I remember in the beginning when they did the whole Zumba thing, I was kind of falling off. I was like, "You guys are losing me, dude."
Yeah.
The same way 24-hour Fitness lost me when half their class did the Zumba as well. Anyways, different story, different podcast. We get the country cars band,
yes.
And dude, they're killing it, man. It's like a Alabama Shakesy kind of bluesy thing going on. I was digging it.
That whole scene is really fun. Just the actors they got there, and just the look completely changes. It gets more lived in. You know,
it hit me the same way that the first time you saw Radiator Springs hit me, where I was like, "Oh, this is a wonderful place to be." Like I wish that I could be there, experiencing that.
Yeah. The moment of them Smokey talking about Doc sending all the letters, I was like, that hit really good.
I missed my dad. I missed him in the sense that, like, you know, like a lot of times with family members or mentors, whatever it is, you know, like you don't hear the things that they say about you until you talk to the people they talk to.
Yeah.
You know? And God, it's so true. It was so it felt really good to have that moment. I'm still wondering in this moment now, we've gone all over the place. What is this movie about?
Right. They hint at like there's little breadcrumbs of it, and I think I only really noticed it upon the second rewatch because I remember in the first one I was just like I'm here for the ride. Like, how's Lightning gonna get ready to be back? And it's like he's not having as much success as you'd want, and like I put in here, I just put love me a good training montage. Like training montages and heist films, I'm a very, very predictable person. I love both of those. Yeah. And that montage of them, like, finding the path and, getting out of the pocket and all that stuff.
That was wonderful. I like the way they used that later on too. That was great. Like, it goes through the window, whatever it was called. That was cool. Then you get to see some golden years of Doc as well, and what it was like for him back when he was killing it. And that was also, I think, part of when we say it was tasteful. That almost feels like a little montage to Newman, like it felt like they were kind of paying homage to somebody they respected as well, and making him incredibly just a badass, dude. He was awesome.
Yeah. And
watching like that first cut when he makes his move across all of them, and then when he talks about the rookie for the first time and how he did them. Like, oh, that was so cool. And I knew in that moment, I was like watching it, I was like, this is Cruz's movie. I'm thinking it's Cruz's movie when she wins the race. I'm thinking this is Cruz's movie when they tell that story, and Cruz is the one that makes the comment if he really did that. I'm like, all right, my wheels are spinning. Yeah, that's who I see what's going on here. I didn't know how they were going to make it happen, but that's what I was seeing. I was like, somehow she's going to become the something.
I liked your note in here about how come when you're old, everyone wants you to know that.
Dude, it hurts because he comes back again, and like, mind you, the entire movie they're just telling Lightning, "You're old." Everyone, the old people are saying, "You're old. You're dilapidated. You're washed. You're creaky. You're rusty." And the young people are saying, "Be careful, old man. You don't want to hurt yourself." Like everyone, and it sucks. Sometimes I could just really relate where you're like, dude, I'm not that old, guys. I'm still kicking over here. Kind of
It's
like Cal.
weird.
I'm right here, guys.
We're at that crossroads where like
Things
old
hurt,
people
but I'm
tell us
young.
we're young, and young people tell us we're old. Like there's no you have that. I've been told for 7 years that I'm young and be patient by older people, and I'm like, come
You
on,
know why?
guys.
Because older people get this. You ready, Marco? Keep
They
on
don't retire.
getting older.
You're older than you've ever been, and now you're getting older.
Oh
Great
man,
song.
yeah, that
Time.
bothered me just watching that. But I did like
Yeah.
immediately after that thought as I'm having it. It goes boogity boogity boogity. Let's go racing.
Yeah, so that's that's Daryl Waltrip. That's his like trademark, and it's great. It was in the first film, I think, too. Just
I
boogie
missed
boogie
it,
boogie.
dude. I caught it first watch. I was like, "What the heck kind of soundbite is that?"
It's a great one. Hey,
Oh.
make it your trademark. You know, you got the John Madden mumble. You got the.
Well,
the
you know, I'm gonna
We're going to go over there. Got
That
yellow
was
markers drawn
wonderful.
up there. Yeah, and just the way that everything falls into place for crews to be put into the race is very interesting. Your thoughts on Sterling are my exact thoughts, because it's like there's after a certain point it stops becoming business and goes into being personal.
Yeah, now he's
And
just
that's
scum.
yeah, that's when you're like, oh, yeah, like there's no pulling back from Sterling.
Well, because Sterling is like he's almost that's the word to put in here. I don't want to say he's like an anti-hero. No, he's not an anti-hero. He's like an anti-antagonist almost. Like he doesn't do all the things that an antagonist is supposed to do because he also moves the plot forward. You know,
He's doing his job. He's like a
yeah.
punch clock.
He doesn't
He's not a
strictly
punch
hinder
clock almost, but
everything.
like
He lets
yeah.
things move through, but it's at this point where the movie wants to go. He's now in between, and he's on the wrong side of the fence essentially. And you realize, like, dude, this guy is just—he's scum of the earth, dude. The way he's treating crews, you don't treat anybody like
yeah.
And I'm sort of thinking, like, this is where, okay, so this is the theme. And even in my notes here, like, the theme's everywhere. I can't figure it out all the way. I don't know what, I don't know what they're trying to make us believe or to know, you know? Like, it's just kind of funky. But essentially, you know, perseverance, as long as you try your best, like, you'll have a shot. And in the sense that, like, Lightning McQueen wins no matter what because she wins. And because he started the race, he put his best foot forward, he did his best. He gets to choose his ending. Helping others in the sense that he goes, it's not just my last chance, it's my last chance to help you.
Yeah.
You know,
mentorship and yeah.
And then the whole believing in yourself, you know, like she says like how like she gave up earlier in her career, you know, before she even had the opportunity. She showed up and said, "Oh, never mind," and didn't even do it. And I don't know if you've ever had that feeling, but I know it can't be good.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, I don't think I've ever like given up before an opportunity arose. I think I think I definitely put a lot of time into the wrong direction in that sense. But it's like you live and you learn. Like I can't sit there and be like, you know, like all through high school, I was like, I'm gonna be in film. I'm gonna do all these things, and then like I barely work on video-based projects now. Like I do it. I can do it quickly. It's not amazing, but it's like riding a bike. Like I can do it. I can't do tricks, but I can ride a bike. Like it's a skill I have. But
I'll say this though. I think a lot of what you're talking about is a lot of what's in the movie. And I get spoken to about this from my friends and family a lot, just about how, you know, as much as I feel like I'm confident and as much belief in myself as I think I carry, you know, sometimes, like even right now with what you just told me, Marco, you're very capable. You've done some really wonderful things in your life, but the boundaries that you just so eloquently illustrated are invisible and non-existent. You know, like you could do more in video if you wanted to. You could be wonderful at it. You could have a career in film, 100%. You know, and that's kind of what I think they're trying to teach us in this movie. I think that's part of the theme as well. But I'll go back to the theme is everywhere. This is like a convoluted Hoosiers movie, you know. It's a bit difficult to figure out And I guess it's kind of supposed to be the end of an era with lightning, you know, and that's what
Hmm.
they're kind of trying to do. It's a mechanism to. I felt, I don't know, man. I started to feel like, is this just basically like a means to sequelville so that they can have more Cars movies without using the same cast?
Maybe I think like it's a good retirement for him. I think it's a good. I think too though, like the theme too is like we were saying. It's just like you're not going to get exactly what you want, but what you got is going to be pretty great.
Yeah.
And to like recognizing when it's your time, when which opportunities to jump on. I do have
Well,
to say,
recognizing that you're in the golden years, you
yeah,
know, they happen. Like you just like the best times of your life are happening or have
that's
happened. That's a
yeah,
crazy thing. But once again, that's another like you know, like it's another piece of the theme that I it's hard to stitch all that together into
yeah,
it's very entertaining. I will say that the movie is entertaining. I'm watching the whole thing. I want to know what's going to happen next. 1,000%.
yeah,
It's
and like I think
frustrating as somebody who likes stories to watch this one compared to a lot of the other Pixar movies.
knowing you're in the golden years has been tough. Like I think there are a lot of we talked about this a little bit last time, where it's like one of the best pieces of advice I've been like tumbling around in my head for the past year is like don't repeat too many experiences, and like just specifically
Hmm.
like don't like it's not like don't travel because you've traveled before, but like don't
Yeah.
really like do the exact same thing. Like yeah, it's nice to have things that are like repeatable and stuff. Like don't have too much of a routine. Like you can have
Mm-hmm.
routine; it has its place, but then too, being aware of that kind of stuff. Where like we talked about the road trip, where it was like not that crazy bonkers NorCal road trip. It's like I sit there going like I would love to do that again, but no matter how hard we try, no matter what we do, we would never be able to recreate that. But we want to do other. We want to travel. We want to do other things like that. So like, and just one when you're traveling and in those moments, just like kind of being present. That's what I've been trying to do
Yep.
recently. It's being real present.
You know, I
Um,
do that to a fault. I don't take pictures.
mhm,
I don't take nearly. I love taking pictures. I think it's a great time, but also
mhm.
like I will if I'm enjoying myself or if I appreciate something. It's almost like when you know like you're taught as a kid not to pick flowers if you love flowers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Let it
how I
live. Let it.
treat pictures
Mhm.
sometimes, where it's like I don't even. I just take this snapshot in my head of that moment, and I want to
Yeah.
remember it forever. And my memory's terrible, and I won't. But it's
Mhm.
okay. It's supposed to be enough for me, and it is enough. But then sometimes I sit there and go, I get like the FOMO when I see other people's
Yeah.
pictures. But I go, I have really cool experiences like that too, though.
I don't have a lot of pictures of myself doing that like
Hmm.
everything. Like and like at the same time too, it's like I don't need a picture of me in front of a specific building. I need,
Yeah,
but then two, it's like I have at least like I'll try to take at least one picture where it's like this is from my trip to wherever.
yeah,
And
I do that
and
too. But it's like I don't get the when I tell you the story about what happened when I went to wherever. I don't have a picture of that because I was in the story. I
mhm.
was being the main character. What are you talking about? I don't hold the camera.
Yeah, it's this funny balance. Like, because I remember before, like I was always filming things as it happened, and then like I was glad that I captured it. Like that is one of my favorite thrills of filming stuff. Is just like capturing something that other people are living. But then after a while, I was like, I want to join in on this fun. Like, it's cool that I have the
Hmm.
footage, but like, no, I want to, And so like I kind of put down the camera,
Yeah.
and I don't carry it around as much. But like with yeah, just
I don't know,
I do
man.
I
I
do.
think if you still have a passion for camera and everything, I feel personally like I remember growing up, I thought it was so wonderful to have somebody who wanted to be behind the lens like you
Mhm.
did, you know, because it helped us to photograph our childhood, our growing up, you know, and it was
Yeah,
sweet
we
because
got
like part
some
of it
goofy
was like
footage.
you know when Marco made his appearance on the screen, it was grandiose, it was a big deal, you know, because normally you're on the other side. So it's
Yeah,
always like, oh shoot, what's gonna happen next? I think there's something to that. I think there's something to that character in the group. I appreciate that person in the group. You know.
let's see. Back
Let's
to
see. Let's get back to the thing to get
yeah,
back to. The only thing I have left here is our power scaling recap, which we should have like some music to or something.
yeah.
Iggy Pop.
We can do. I can drop a little like little little dun
Dun, 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 dun,
power
dun,
scaling.
dun, dun. Wow, 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 wow.
I'll drop something. I'll drop something in over this.
I don't
So
know.
with the
Is it?
power scaling,
Should I? Is it okay to take Law and Order's theme song like that?
Get shut down.
We just get
has
cold
sent a cease
pulled
and
right
desist
now,
order.
man. That was too good, sir. You sounded exactly like the theme.
Exactly
You can't
like
let that fly.
So we
So
really
we have the
only
power
have
scaling.
yeah.
Yeah, we only have the one person that's made it so far. You know, we have. Well, I mean, should we start with the contenders this time, or
I
should we
mean, we
start
can
with?
kind of like I think our listeners are aware of it. I mean, we've got up top we've got Mater at number 2, which is maybe a surprise to some, but I think everybody else kind of gets the gist of
I mean,
everything at this
especially
point.
if you've heard us before, Mater's got OP powers. He becomes a
Yeah.
secret agent in the second one. He can turn into anything he really wants to with his camouflage capabilities. He can fly. He's got rocket capabilities. He shoots missiles. He's got the abilities that of a Spider-Man with his toe hitch, better than that of Fendic missile. He's got the instincts that of like a cheetah, in the sense that he's got better instincts than any of the other secret agents. So he just seems as though, yeah, dude, he's always in the right place. I think he's a solid number 2 to the Woodcarver, who is basically an omniscient OP character. The number 3, we got Mr. Incredible, the strongest character on this list by far when it comes to pure strength, and mostly durability as well. Only person that's probably more durable than Mr. Incredible on the list would probably be Wally. Wally is somebody who withstood the test of time, an apocalypse, vacuums of space. He's done just about all that you can do when it comes to survivability. He's amazing. And then he also has an incredibly powerful laser on his forehead. Exactly.
Yeah.
We got Jack, whose abilities are still being learned about. At this point, he's almost as strong as his father. He's got rage capabilities. He's got interdimensional capabilities. He's got translucent capabilities. He can turn himself on fire. He can turn himself into any density or alloy or anything he wants. He's incredibly overpowered. He can outsmart those with better instincts than his father. But I would say that his father the difference is his father's just trying to catch him anytime they ever have any kind of run-in. He's not trying to actually hurt his child.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say about Jack. The only thing that like kind of discounts him from being as powerful as Mr. Incredible, even though by having more abilities, is we've got the whole baby rattlesnake syndrome. He doesn't know the limits of his power, so he might go a little overboard. So
he could literally take care of himself. He could send himself to another dimension and forget how he did it and just be stuck there. You know. And
then we got Remy.
Remy
pulls on hair and can control people. Depending, we're not sure of the full limits of that power, but also too, his main weakness is bald people.
I will say there's certain limitations on his abilities. We have baldness. It seems like he kind of controls weak-willed people more than anything. I would imagine he needs a good tuft of hair to pull, so there's only a few regions he could be on. And then but what other things that he does bring to the table is he's got a rat family with him as well. You know what I mean? Which means he can carry disease. He can bring a bunch of people to take care of what would be an insurmountable task for one rat. He can bring hundreds of rats to take care of, as well as take over people. So you never know. After that, you got Syndrome, a villain, but somebody with the technological capabilities to, I feel like Swart, he gives everybody on this list a run for their money if he's given time, which is what he's given in The Incredibles. He's given basically 20 years or 10 years of time to become and figure out what capabilities he needs to be able to overcome his obstacles. After that, you got Eva, who I would say is more advanced than Syndrome, but without the will. And that's kind of where I feel like Syndrome overtakes her on that. Syndrome has a larger repertoire capabilities, could easily do all the things that Eva does as well. Then you get Buzz Lightyear, who I think this is where you get a character whose will is unmatched. You know, I think if he goes off of his rocker, we didn't talk about this, but I think that if he goes full Nesbit, we have a real issue, especially if he goes Nesbit in the new Lightyear movie, which is coming out.
We'll see
if
what happens there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just imagine he's like, you know what? Boom. I can start beating somebody with his own arm. Shoots his laser at some dude. Like, Buzz could really get nuts. But I mean, realistically, for real, Buzz is somebody who, even as a toy, there hasn't been very many obstacles he couldn't overcome in any ability. After that, you get we got Butch. Now Butch is kind of like a 10th character that's also, we have some Monsters Inc. characters. Like I feel like Butch is a soft 10. He doesn't necessarily come off the list, but he's got teleportation abilities, it seems like that, or he can go invisible, something to that degree. He's got incredible instincts. He's a T-Rex, for God's sakes. He can run really fast. He's got incredibly sharp teeth, and is very, very, very strong. And has been through a lot, so he doesn't fear fear. He walks into it. That's also something that should be known. After that, you got Sully, Randall, other honorable mentions. But we got. I like the idea of last week. If we put a team together, a team of Hank and Bailey, I think would really do some wild work together, especially if they worked with anybody on this list. I think Hank, Bailey, and anybody on this list could take out anybody outside of the top two by far.
Yeah, I think like really at this point, at least from me looking far enough ahead, I don't think we're going to have any characters that really break this list.
Well, I don't know, man.
We'll see.
We got what's Jamie Foxx's movie? Soul. We got Soul, and then you want to talk about omniscience and omnipotent. Get ready, because that movie's going to hit hard, man. You're for sure going to see who the strongest character is. Well, like when we get to there, I don't know if there's going to be too many more. And then also Onward has an incredible amount of magical creatures, which can break a lot of these rules as well. So who knows who we see in that movie as well. I think there's a lot of room. In this one, the contender from this movie was Miss Fritter, as aforementioned by Marco, who kind of seems like a Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus.
Yeah, kind of
with
crazy,
like a nose piercing and tattoos, essentially.
The not so magic school bus.
Yeah.
The manic school bus.
Like the tragic school bus. Yeah.
The tragic school bus.
The tragic at the disco. So, I mean, her abilities, let's talk about them. She's got, more strength than your average car. She could probably pull around, was it Betty from the first movie, pretty well. But she shoots flames out. It doesn't seem like they're any kind of flame that's like concentrated enough to weld or anything like that. So I don't want to give her super OP powers like that. She's got she's very durable. She's been around for a long time. But once again, like if I put her up against anybody, I mean, I guess maybe she beats. You think
Remy.
she beats Butch? Or you think she beats Buzz? No, man. Remy Remy would just get inside of her, chew up a couple chords, and she stops working.
Yeah. Just I think like he'd have to get very.
Mr. Incredible picks her up and throws her across the movie.
Yeah.
Wally cuts her in half with his laser, and then just turns himself into a box. Jack has a billion ways to take care of him. Syndrome looks at it like a car and probably just either takes it over or does something similar to Wally. Eva blows it up. Buzz, I mean, I guess Buzz can get taken out by it, but I think we gave Buzz his actual abilities in this when we did it. And so I feel as though he would, once again, laser it, take care of it quite simply. Butch, I feel like we all saw Jurassic Park, the first one. T-Rex
cars versus dinosaurs.
It doesn't work out well for the cars.
Yeah.
I don't think she makes this list. I don't find her to be more useful than Hank, the team of Hank and Bailey, who I'm putting on the honorable mentions at this point. I don't see anybody on here doing anything. If anything, Mater takes a hit in this movie for not using any of his abilities. Like I'm telling you, it pains me. He doesn't go down to number 3. It's just the distance between him and the woodcarver becomes bigger. Because the woodcarver in her movie is able to move the plot along even more with even less of an input almost. With even all she does is make a potion and bail. Gone. And she is the reason the whole movie's happening. Whereas in this one they don't get that, and you don't get any flex really from Mater at all. I'm not saying I'm disappointed in this movie. I'm just saying I'm disappointed there wasn't more Mater. That's all.
Yeah. I think we need to do a separate mini episode on Mater's tall tales, which I think are underappreciated and are really neat. Any other closing thoughts for the movie, or how
Not particularly, you know. It's one of the first times where I don't feel like any of the villains were actually like villains. It kind of felt like you were kind of fighting against yourself the whole time. That's kind of what was going on. Sterling, you know, as much as we say he's scum, he's a businessman. Jackson Storm is just trying to win championships. You know, if you've ever been competitive, people aren't always going to be nice to you. That's just the norm. And Lightning McQueen even addresses that in the end. He's like, look at how he's treating you. He's doing it because he was rattled.
Yeah.
But, you know, I liked a lot of the callbacks with the flashback stuff. I just, in the Cars world, it's crazy. Because I remember coming into these with, like, the first one and talking about how I wasn't very excited for it, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I liked you know, the music in it a lot more than I remember. I'd rank this one number 3 in the Cars franchise. You know, I don't think that it did anything new, per se. I don't think it brought it anywhere new with the music or anywhere, even the same with the music. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it felt like Toy Story.
Yeah, the only bit of music that like really stood out to me, like even of the like soundtrack songs, like I mean at the beginning they have like the Black Keys and stuff like that, and the one that stood out to me is the Thunder Hollow Breakdown by Brad Paisley. That's just this like instrumental, like picking and a grinning kind of thing, and that's a fun.
That's it. That was a good one though. That was fun. But you know, it's not like Rascal Flatts did the whole soundtrack this time or anything. You know, it was just it was very much so a movie to get children into cars again. Yeah. But
I think all in all, it was really fun. I watched a couple of special features where they talked about the concept of like, I was unaware of this, but it makes sense. I was unaware that like, you know, NASCAR had a lot of origins where a lot of the drivers in early NASCAR were like moonshine runners.
Oh yeah, that was a cool little Easter egg that they gave us right there. Yeah, I liked that a lot actually.
So like like history of racing, that kind of stuff. That's pretty neat, and it's just like the thought of like just these guys.
You know,
like
trip that the way they put that in there though was like they knew they were telling a joke they probably shouldn't tell.
Yeah,
I like the way they wrote that.
Whenever the moon shines,
what? The moon was big and bright just about every time we made this race.
So yeah, I think that's Cars 3. You know, ranking wise, like I liked it. I'll put it on in the background. You know, it's like I've watched it again. I wasn't like I don't think coming up. There aren't any movies that I'm like dreading watching again, except for the existential dread they will give me.
Toy Story 4 will hit. Incredibles 2 will be wonderful. I can't wait for Soul. Onward fell so flat for me. I'm excited to watch it with this kind of a scope on it, just because it was it's when COVID was first going down for movies and everything, and they didn't know what to do with them. And I remember they weren't sure what to do with it, and when they released it, it stuck that we didn't get a theatrical release, and that's how I felt. And for it to happen to Soul too, I'll get into it. But up next, we got Coco, which is like a top 3 movie for me when it comes to animated movies. It's I can't wait. I'm also once again talk about your feelings.
Woo. Yeah, we're gonna get into our feelings for the next like 6 movies.
Yeah,
we're
Unc Rich. We have a picture with the guy who made me cry. How cool is that?
So at the rate we're going, if we stick to our current looking at it, it's like we're gonna almost land like right at the time Turning Red comes out.
That's cool. I like that.
So our timing couldn't have been better.
I like that a lot. If there's a week in between, we could always do like the shorts for made of shorts, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think what would be funny to do. Yeah, we'll figure some things out. Closing. I think we're all set.
I think we are set. You want a better conclusion? How about
no? I gotta figure.
Where?
No. I guess we'll end there.
I got nothing else for you, buddy. Have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you soon, man.
Sounds good. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Peace and love, everyone.